From the News Channel 5 Network, this is MorningLine.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on MorningLine. Nick Barris here on a Monday. How was your weekend? I hope you had a good one. Mine was restful. I mean, I'm just trying to deal with this cold. Wow. Finally, I think, the one good thing about this cold, just before we get to the topic this morning, is the fact that all of a sudden it gets this frigid, and I think it just wipes out any potential allergies or whatever other crap was affecting me, because I was getting allergies with this wet, warm weather, which I already miss, but the cold weather at least takes care of that. So I'm feeling better there. I'm wearing the sweater, and we're inside, which is great, and you're inside watching the show, and I hope you join in the conversation, because we're talking about it's a fun topic, taxes. Isn't it fun? Listen, we're in the new year now, okay? It's just a few months before April 15th will be upon us. And there are some changes, I suppose, in the tax law. There's things that you need to be thinking about now. Some of you may be getting ready to get your tax returns. If you have any questions about filing and taxes, the number 737-7587. I won't be answering them, but my guest, Dr. Friday, will. Good morning to you.
Good morning,
It's nice to see you.
You too.
Thanks for coming on.
No problem.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year's.
You're here with us, ready to rock and roll.
Yes.
And
exciting.
It's tax time. If you would, what's with Dr. Friday again? Where does the name come from?
Well, my first name is Friday, like the day of the week. So I was born the youngest of 8 children, and Dad finally said, oh, thank God it's Friday. And so the name really did stick.
I just needed to share that. I love
and
that.
then I have a PhD in economics, so there's the Dr. Friday.
That works.
That's
That
right.
works. And she knows her stuff. She's great with taxes, and so we can open up the phone lines. We'll take those. But before we get to any calls, just thought I'd hit you up. What's kind of new this year? It's like you said, you sits down with me this morning. She goes, ready for a new year? I think so.
Exactly.
Is it going to be different than last year?
Not a whole bunch different. We did get an extender. A lot of people know that. What's nice about this one is it extended most everything extended to the end of 16, where in the last couple of years we've had the extender that pretty much ended at the same year in which they passed it.
If you would, again, what do you mean extender?
So that means we know some of the tax law, or most of the tax law, is going to be extended until before it expires, right?
All right.
So the good news is, like sales tax, the teacher's credit or educational credits. A couple things that became permanent was the child's credit, so much you get when you have earned income credit and things like that. So some of those are extended and some became permanent. Not very much became permanent. We would like more permanent. One thing that did become permanent, which is nice for small businesses, the Section 179, which basically means if you go out and spend $500,000 on equipment, you have the ability to pretty much depreciate all that in the first year that you have it.
Okay.
Before that extender came in, or this permanent thing, we only had like 25,000 as all we knew about, right? Every year they would tell us on December 17th how much we're going to get till the end of that year. So you had like a week or two to make any kind of serious decisions. So now we actually know that we have this, as long as your business isn't profiting more than about $2 million, which most small businesses don't have. But when you go buy a $100,000 piece of equipment, that's huge for most small businesses.
Sure.
It's a major investment, and if you had to front that, even in financing it, getting that tax dollar in advance and being able to reduce your taxes by that can give you some operating capital.
So that stays the same. What went away? Anything?
Not a whole bunch went away.
Not
no,
much.
They
So meaning that it's going to be the same as last year.
Exactly. So basically 14 and 15. Now remember, the penalty for health care has doubled.
Okay.
So we went from 1% to 2%. That could be huge. So a lot of people got hit with like $500-600 in penalties. Now you're looking at $1,000 or $1,200 if you do not have health care.
Okay.
Or health insurance, I should say. So that's probably one of the biggest changes that we'll know. And again, in 16, it will go up another %, so you go to 3% penalty.
When did the forms start going out? Have they already been mailed, some of them, or no?
Most, yes. I have people actually already trying. Now, they will not accept e-files till January 19th.
When do the first returns go out?
January 19th.
Oh, is that right? Okay, that quickly. If you're on the ball, if you got it, you sent it in, you could potentially get it on the 19th?
Potentially you can file it on the 19th. So you will get it within January 19th. You'll probably get it. I would say you can get it within 10 to 12 days, even though they tell you 21 days. So theoretically, you could have your refund before the end of the month if you get it in early. They'll probably get bombarded, though, on that day, if I'm imagining.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they would.
Right?
Okay. Most people, all right, and Then other than that, and we'll get into more just the basics then for every year, but is there anything else that jumps out at you you think the tax folks out there getting ready need to be aware of, besides the general stuff, which we'll get into, but just it's different this year? It doesn't sound like it.
Not really. We didn't get a lot of different. There's a couple cost of living things that will come up. So if you didn't have to file taxes last year because you earned less than $26,000 as a married couple, you won't be filing taxes this year. Things like that. So.
Okay. So you didn't have to get the big thing and throw it down on the table and start going through it again?
No. The good news is I do that every day.
Yeah, I know you. Well, you do. That's part of what you do. You have to keep up to speed on changes in the tax code. Right. And some years are more busy for you than others.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm kind of excited this year because the last 2 years, seriously, they passed tax law, I think 2 years ago in January and backdated it. Last year they passed it in like December. This year they passed it in December, but they gave us at least a year out. So now so we can actually tax plan for 2016. We have not been able to do tax planning for our clients in any really good way in the last 3 years.
Okay, but now because you know all this.
Because at least we have 1 year. I would love 5 years in advance. I mean, you cannot make business decisions in 1 year.
Because, meaning that you have this under your belt, so what did you learn from last year that you can apply to help with tax planning for folks?
Well, I mean, basically, you can sit down. Okay, again, in 14 or in 15, when we were there in the whole year, we had no idea if we would have sales tax available to us. We had no idea if Section 179 was going to be more than $25,000. We found that out on December like 18th.
Okay.
So we couldn't tell
that's
it.
not the full
Another
year,
big
right,
one,
exactly.
right? And of course, people with required minimum distributions. Another big one. If you give to charity, you can zero out your taxes. Up to $100,000 from your requirement. We didn't know that until December. Everyone already taken their RMD, so we could not defer that. So that helped a lot of seniors. In 16, we can do that. We can save thousands of dollars for our clients by just doing something like that. So it's really nice to be able to do that kind of thing.
All right, listen, we'll get into more details and things like that can flag you for an audit and all of that. But first, let's take a phone call before we take our first break so we don't make Bobby wait through it. And Bobby, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing fine. I have a question about reverse mortgage. My home was under reverse mortgage. I had to sell it and move into assisted living.
Okay.
Now, I did manage to obtain $30,000 from it. Is that going to be taxable?
No, that was your primary residence. So you didn't make enough profit above what you owe or what you paid for. I'm going to assume you did not make more than $250,000, meaning when you purchased that house, let's say it was $100,000, when you sold it, it was only worth $200,000 or $300,000. Therefore, you did not profit more than $250,000, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Then there'll be no taxes, nothing even needing to be filed, most likely.
Oh, that's super. And one other quick question.
Sure.
If I declare myself and my wife as handicapped, do we need some kind of medical statement?
There's really no tax advantage to being handicapped. Blind is the only one they give an extra credit for, theoretically, and you're over the age of 65, so you're kind of going to maximize that anyways. So no, and answer your question, I mean, there's nothing unless you're going to be building a ramp or doing something to a home, and it doesn't sound like that's the case.
Yeah, why would you have done that, Bobby?
Why would I have?
Yeah, were you thinking that there might be an advantage to it, or have you actually claimed that before for some reason?
Actually, I thought there might be an advantage.
Oh, okay.
I'm doing it online,
Sure.
and it asks me if I'm handicapped. So that's why I asked.
No, that's a good question.
That's a great question. And what the tax software most likely is trying to find out is there any tax credits? For example, maybe you've brought a wheelchair, or you have ramps or a swimming pool added to your home because the doctor said these kinds of activities or you need these kind of accesses. Those can be credits to the disabled. So that would be the reason they're trying to find out if you're handicapped or not, most likely.
Okay, super. Okay. You've answered my questions, and I certainly do appreciate it.
No problem.
Thanks for your help.
That's awesome, Bobby. Thank you for your call. That's what I like. Calls like that come in, get right to the heart of it. And he had to ask good questions.
He did.
Put his mind at ease. Do we need to take a break? Before I take another call, may as well do that. We've got other calls coming in, 737-7587. And has our resident tax expert. Stick around, because I'm going to put to her this. Come next week, or later this week, after Wednesday night, and I'm a billionaire. I want to know, should I take the lump sum or the 20-year payouts? And you tell me what the advantages are. And I think a lot of people are going to wonder that.
Yes.
Because everyone's playing this darn Powerball lottery that keeps growing.
But I'm going to win.
Well, if you win, you tell me what you would do. All right, we'll take a break and be back with that and more of your phone calls right after this. Stay with us.